Welcome to episode 721 of Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido. I am here tonight with Jen, the Arcane Observer, and tonight we will be talking about alien abductions. So, as suggested there, this is going to be one of the darker subjects that we cover on the show. I don't cover a lot of things that could be dark, or could be negative, or could be uncomfortable topics a lot on this show because the show is mainly supposed to be about how everything paranormal or unexplained is not negative, but there are things that happen that I think are important to talk about here. Um, so yeah. First of all, let me welcome Jen onto the show. Thank you for being here with me as always, Jen.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
So yeah, I'm glad to have you here as well. We've covered a lot recently, and I don't know. I just because of my own experiences and everything, and I was trying to figure out a different topic, sort of unrelated to what we talked about recently. And I figured, well, I did want to cover this at some point, so I might as well get it done this week. So,
Right?
so
Yeah,
yeah,
looking forward to talking about it. And I know you've had experiences, and I've had some experiences. I'm looking forward to talking about it and seeing where it goes. It's a very interesting topic. It's a lot of people have had alien abduction experiences or something akin to that seems to be the same type of, has the same type of, I guess you'd call it, the way that it flows with the paranormal. It's not always paranormal. It sometimes takes on sort of a, as if it is something kind of not even human in a way or something. So I think it'll be interesting to talk about and to hear about. And I'm looking forward to hearing about your experiences and the things you've found.
yeah. The main thing is, I think I'm saying alien abduction, but I think there's so many ways that we can look at that from actual aliens, whatever they are, to who knows what else. I mean, I'll just start with my own experience. I it resembled to me anyway, and some kind of an alien abduction or experimentation experience, but I don't know for sure because it only happened the one time. But so I'll just go into that experience, and some of you have heard this before, but so this was several years ago, over a decade ago now. I was asleep here in my own apartment, my living room. At the time, I was sleeping on the couch, and I fell asleep one night, late night. It was already dark out. Might have even been early morning. I don't remember now. I'm not good with remembering times and dates and all that. But I fell asleep, and I woke up. At least I felt like I woke up. This is all basically what I'm saying here is what I feel like it happened and what I sensed and saw and heard, and, which I know that those things can be manipulated. So by various things, various factors. But I woke up, at least to some degree, because I could feel that I was not laying on my couch anymore. I felt a flat hard surface beneath me, and it felt like either metal or hard plastic. It was just a solid surface, not like a couch cushion at all. And I realized I could not move anything except for my eyes. And I could see I was in a room with blue walls, and there were these white cabinets that were built into the walls, white shelves. And they had electronics on them, but nothing with screens. It was just all, I don't know, looked like almost, I guess you could say, computer servers or consoles or systems, but no screens built into these shelves. And I saw these 2 or 3 gray blurs. I couldn't see any features on them, but they were just blurs, about the height of a regular person, I think. Hard to say because I was just stuck laying there in one position. And they were just moving around the table slowly. And I tried to move and I couldn't, and started to get a little bit worried because it felt like more than a regular dream. And so I was trying to move, and as I was trying to move and not having any results, I heard my mom and my dad, my parents, who have been divorced for years, but I'm still very close with them. I heard them both say that everything was okay, but their voices had no emotion in them. And I was able to look off to one side and see two more of these gray blurs standing, or I don't even know about standing. They were just blurs. Two more blurs off in the little short distance away, and I knew it wasn't my parents. And so I looked back up because all I could see was this. It was like the ceiling was made of just one giant light, but there was something coming down from it that I could barely see. And I kept on trying to move, and nothing really worked. And eventually I saw this robotic arm extension kind of thing coming down from the ceiling. And eventually it got close enough to where I could see there was a needle at the end of it. And I tried again, even harder to move, could not move. The gray blurs were still moving around me. And eventually, this needle touched my left eye. And I freaked out, and everything went black. And I woke up, and I was in my living room again. I do not know what that was, but not long after that, my vision started changing. I started having eye strain where I never had it before, and a light sensitivity where I never had it before. And it took me telling this story to some friends to realize that this experience happened before those changes started happening to my eyes. And it started off as just minor eye strain and minor light sensitivity, but over the last over 10 years now, it's been slowly getting worse. And it's been the way it's been, and I've had to stop reading physical books anymore. Just various things that I've had to change and do differently that I never had a problem with before, as long as I had reading glasses. And but I never had eye strain before. I could watch movies or whatever, TV shows. I could watch TV, play whatever video games I wanted all day. Never bothered me until after this weird whatever it was seemed like an alien abduction experience. Until that happened. So yeah, that's my experience. And there's some famous cases that I've found an article that we can go over later on, or at least touch on, and I'll share that in the episode description. But my point to all this is, in sharing my experience and as well as pointing out the famous cases, is I can't imagine how many cases there are of people that have had similar experiences that have never become famous, and or no one has ever even told anybody else because of the stigma, and it just sounds so bizarre. So Jen, what are your thoughts on all that so far?
So how old were you when this happened?
I was about 30, 31.
Okay, yeah,
32
because
at
you
the,
said
yeah.
about over 10 years that,
Yep. Yeah.
And this was when you were living there in Michigan?
Yep. It happened in the same apartment I'm in now. I've been in here for over 16, almost 17 years.
And it just kind of came out of the blue for you?
It did. I wasn't looking into the topic of that at all. I I hadn't even really been overall that interested in aliens or anything like that, as far as a possibility of it being. Not that I doubted it, but I just hadn't been looking into that at all. At the time, I was mostly focused on ghosts and that the spiritual aspect of everything.
Okay. And you could see the colors of the room, and you could see sort of what looked like electronics of some kind around you, but then the figures that you could see, and you could hear the voices of your parents, and then but the figures that were moving around you, what you think that they were kind of what were they like?
They were just gray blurs. I do find it ironic or maybe an important point that they were gray, but I did not see any. There was literally no detail. It was just like a vertical gray oval that was moving around me, or that a couple of them that were moving around me, and then two that were off to one side staying still, that were apparently supposed to represent my parents or try to trick me into thinking they were my parents. I don't know.
So you think that there's a possibility that they were projecting the voice of your parents?
Yeah, I think so. Either they took it from my own mind, or I don't know how else they would have done it unless. Yeah, I don't know.
And there was a really um okay, so you went to sleep and then you woke up in that scenario, but it seemed like you were still dreaming, but it wasn't like a dream. It was too real for that. So kind of like a lucid dream experience. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess that is. It's hard to describe, but yeah, I'd say that's about as close as I get to it. Yep.
And it's really strange. And had you had any eye problems prior to this at all?
No, I mean I was born legally blind, but then not to the point where I ever had light sensitivity or eye strain like I started to have after.
That's
So
interesting. I mean, just that there was some kind of interaction that way with the eye so specifically, and that it wasn't a normal type of dream that you're used to having, so it would have this profound effect and then from there on, there was a sort of acceleration of the experience with your eyes, but kind of sensing that there was something else maybe involved is what it sounds like to me. Like that's what I'm interpreting it as for myself. If I was just kind of on the outside looking in, that there was this experience that you keep coming back to. It's as if it's in your mind in a way what there was some type of, not necessarily an acceleration, but that there was an interaction concerning that they were involved with, that these, and was there any type of anything from them at all? Did you, these blurs, these gray figures, blurry figures that were kind of obscured in some way, did you get anything from them at all that you remember in your dream, or in the experience?
yeah, no, I get what you mean. I think, and no, I didn't. Other than just hearing those my parents' voices that one time, there was no other sound at all. I didn't see any. I didn't see any hands that were coming toward me from the blurs. I didn't. They weren't um, touching me as far as I could tell that way. But I could just feel. But I could feel the again this flat surface beneath me that
Right.
was not a couch. So that was between what I felt and below me at that surface, and then that needle touching my eye. I don't know. It's really, if I hadn't had the changes in my vision after, then I might be able to write it off as just a really weird lucid dream,
Mhm.
just caused by all the content I've taken in over the years. But the way it felt so real, and then the effects I had after, um, then just I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's and really I call it. I say that it seemed like an alien abduction experience because I don't know what else to classify it as. Even though I mean there are variations in those kinds of experiences, so there's no really. I don't think there's one real. They're not all the same. They don't take the same pattern every time.
Mhm. What was it like when you were coming out of it? How you woke up from
Um,
it or came out of
I
it?
just I was just wide awake. I remember I didn't even go back to sleep that day at that time. Not for several hours. I was yeah, I was awake,
So
and
like
yeah.
in the dream, or like in what you are calling the dream or the abduction experience, like because it came the same way. You remember the needle going into the eyeball, and then it sort of Did you wake up? Is that what woke you up, or like brought you out of the abduction experience? Was it just that, or did something else happen, or do you not? Did it blur into something else, but you can't remember what it was, and then you were loose? You were awake, then awake as in like in here, you know, where you were expected to be. Is it then
Right.
going?
I just remember that I felt the needle touch my eye, and then everything went dark, and I woke sort of just right away came to. There wasn't even much time between everything going dark and me waking up or coming to or whatever. And I really wish, and now at the time there that I really wish now that at the time I had kept track of what time I went to bed and what time I got up. But of course I didn't because it was just dark and I wasn't thinking anything major would happen that night or that day. So
It was
yeah, I
pretty
don't
quick
know.
though. It sounds like it happened pretty quick. Like
Yeah,
it kind of
it felt like
was
it was.
woke up to it. Like
Yeah.
you kind of maybe it was as if it sounds as if like you woke up to it happening in some altered state of yourself, or like that you were in a sleep state and then you came out of it to realize that this was what was happening, and then you in quote woke up. You know, it's what it sounds like, almost like you kind of alerted to it going on. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, and or that somehow there was, I don't know, I was knocked out somehow right at the moment after that needle touched my eye, and then I came out of it after. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, in the chat there, I'm looking at the chat. Hello, everyone there. I see you all there. Matt Sala says some UFO abductions sound just or see could just be passed off as a dream, which I think um, that seems like it's possible. Also, I've heard that people they don't get physically taken. It's like their astral self or their spirit or something like that, something similar. Their subtle energy, so to speak, is taken, and I wonder if that's what was done. I could still feel somehow if that was the part that was taken that of me that was taken. I don't know.
So you got up, like you woke up in your bed, like your eyes, you came conscious in your bed, and the house looked fine. Was there any kind of bleed over? Any kind?
No, nope.
It,
I woke up and sat up in the couch, and I was just up, and I didn't feel anything in my eye after that. It wasn't until I don't know days that the changes had. No, I noticed the changes in my eyes. I couldn't. Lights bothered me where they didn't before, and I couldn't read as much as I could before. So, yeah, I don't know what else to make of it, but yeah, thank you for asking these questions because it's hard to explain everything in one go, and so I'm glad that you're here to do this.
well, I mean, talking about it, you know, and then like the trying to figure out and think about it from the experience you had and see what it was like, you know, the way that you felt after it and everything, and then obviously it had such a profound effect because of the way that you see the event. And when it comes down to these, what people try to like trying to explain it as alien abduction, and how frustrating it is when people are talking about whether it's paranormal, whether it's something on the psychic level, or something to do with it's so incredibly real that it is real. And so it's people are having to resort to saying, oh, it was an alien abduction, or it was, but it's beyond a lucid dream. I know exactly. I understand what you mean. I mean, I've heard experiences like this. I've had experiences, not like that one, but different experiences. And it doesn't fit the palette for paranormal experiences, because I myself I've had paranormal experiences, and I've met a lot of people who have had paranormal experiences, but this whole thing that we're talking about, it's something on a completely different level, that it's not paranormal. It happens in this strange way, and it's an interaction with something that has a powerful impact in such a bizarre way on the psyche that it stays with them. It's almost like a spiritual experience. Like when people talk about having seen, you know, like an angel or something, or if they've seen a demon, or if they've had something beyond just paranormal. It's for a lot of people, it's beyond that. And I think that you know, they all kind of follow this kind of confusion about what it was. And it is frustrating to talk with people who, I don't know, if they've never experienced it, or if they've never, I don't know, if they've never experienced it, it's really hard to explain it. But just trying to have a conversation about it, because I think it's really fascinating, you know, and I know that was 10 years ago, so it's hard to remember everything. But do you like to think about it, or does it kind of just bug you more so?
I don't mind talking about it. I just wish I knew what it was exactly. I wish I knew more about it. If I'm right about it being some kind of a experience with aliens, I mean, first of all, what is alien? What are aliens? That's a whole other thing. I've come to the point now where I think that words are necessary to describe things, alien, ghost, whatever, but I don't think that they're not perfect. The words are not perfect in that way to describe things, because people can have different ideas of the same word, all these different things. So yeah, I don't know. I was aware of some of the more famous cases that we will have to get into in the next episode here, because we're already down to like less than 2 minutes to go in this episode, which is amazing.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know what it's just. I don't know if it was an alien abduction experience or what else it was, but it that is definitely stuck in my mind, and in large part because of the physical parts of it. If it had just been visuals or sounds, and then again, I could write it off and say that, well, that is not really related to my eyes changing afterward. But the feelings were too solid. Everything was too solid in there, and so yeah, we have about less than 2 minutes left. If you want to, if you have any more thoughts there, Jen.
I mean, it feels like it's worth talking about the way that the abductions may not be necessarily like the experience of alien abduction, where you can only kind of think of it as if like it's beyond a lucid dream, but the feeling that there was some sort of existing somewhere else in a way, but beyond just a dream, it's too much to try to fit in a hurry. So we'll just, I mean, but I think just the fact that the abduction happening in a way that doesn't necessarily have to be a physical abduction as people think about it in movies and things like that, that alien abduction in quotes, but abduction in a way, or an interaction with some type of entities or some type of species or something that is operating at that level, and it's happening as what appears to be, and they approach a lot of times in that dreamscape, and it's not a dream. And I think that at least, I mean, it's something different than a dream, I think.
Yeah.
I think, but it happens, and sometimes it happens, you know. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. We will definitely continue this discussion here in the next episode. Thank you, as always, Jen, for being here. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, James. Talk to you soon.
Yep, and thank you all here for being here listening, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.